Hi everyone, thank you for joining today's webinar. Today we'll be talking about accelerating digital transformation with Microsoft Business Applications. Today we are fortunate enough to have two wonderful presenters. Firstly, we have Tim Shaw from Microsoft, who will be presenting first, followed by Sunny Prince from Ingram Micro, and then we'll have some Q&A at the end, and then some exciting news to share with you at the end of the webinar. So let's get this started. Over to you, Tim.
Thanks, Sonia. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming along today and listening to me talk about Microsoft Business Applications. I'm Tim Shaw. I'm what's called a partner technical architect at Microsoft, and my role is to help enable partners and build solutions on the Microsoft framework. So let's get straight into it. Some of this you may have heard before, but I'll just expand a little bit on things as we go. So one of the things from a business application perspective that we concentrate on is what we call the digital feedback loop. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today and build that out a bit more, because that's across all of our business applications, very important to us. So we have people, which is your employees, or could be subcontractors, but people. We have customers, we have products, and we have operations. So it's getting that information from those outlying sources, but also getting information to those outlying sources from all of these different pillars that we're talking about on the screen. So in the heart of our business applications, when we're designing them, is the data. And then on top of that is using intelligent systems to give that feedback to the stakeholders on the four pillars that you can see on the screen: to people, to products, to operations, and to customers. And it's important to look at it from a perspective of the way I describe this is, if I have an interaction with a customer for instance, in a retail store, then getting that information back to a central system, so I can either improve my products, or I can improve my operations, or even empowering my people to be able to act and help our customers, and put some sort of intelligence on top of that data to make actions that are meaningful in the future. So for us, it's really this loop. So for starters, if I look at customers, it's about engaging those customers and getting the data back into the middle of the system. And then it's also about transforming products, empowering people, and optimizing operations based off the data, and running intelligent systems on top of this data to get that outcome. If I put this down this way and we look at it, so we start off with data, and on top of the data, we're using Azure. So we're using Azure services, machine learning services, cognitive services, vision services, platform, etc., to store this data, to analyze this data, and feedback information on this data to products such as the Power Platform, which I'll talk a little bit more about shortly, to our Office 365 products, to our Dynamics 365 products, and further on to ISV solutions that you can build on top of what we've already built, and build real solutions for your end customers. So just to give you a little bit of an example of all this, if we go to Office 365 and Dynamics 365, we have embedded Dynamics 365 into Office 365, so that when I'm doing something like an Outlook email, I can actually action things in Dynamics 365 from that email without having to leave Office. If I look at ISV applications, we've got partners building solutions that are using Vision API to detect faults, and then reporting that back, so that people can go and fix those faults and prioritize which ones need to be fixed first, rather than visual inspections by a human being going on all the time. So we can run through video, and we can analyze that video, and we can come back and say, there's an issue here, there's an issue there. So they're the sort of ISV applications that are being built on top of our framework. Then additionally to that, we feed in information from Bing, and that could be Bing Maps, or it could be Bing Search, LinkedIn, so integration to LinkedIn, and then all of our products integrate to each other using Microsoft Graph. So you've got a common integration there that partners can extend and do more with than what we do out of the box. So when we look at this, it is really about that sort of thing about how do I transform products. So if I give you a little bit of an example of this, so let's talk about actually engage customers. So an example of how we do this engage customers is we have in our Dynamics 365 sales product, we have Sales AI. And what that does is that reads through all the interactions with that customer from all the people in your business that are interacting with that customer, and analyzes those emails and comes back and as a manager gives you a report on how the conversation is going. So if the conversation is not going well, if the system reads all these emails and determines, well, there's actually a little bit of tension growing here and it's not a positive tension, then it will alert you to that. If it's all going good, it will also alert you to that. So in that way, we're using the data that's been gathered by the customers and by the employees in that interaction. We're analyzing that data and we're giving useful information that's actually empowering people to make change and actually interact where they need to interact versus where they may not actually need to interact. So, you know, if the conversation is going south, the manager needs to do something. If it's going good, then the manager can sleep well at night. So when we look at this, we have a set of products, and this is not all of them. This is just some of them and some of the points. So we have a set of products such as Dynamics 365 Sales, which we'll come back to shortly. We have marketing, so enterprise marketing as well as Dynamics marketing. And marketing is a sort of thing where I can send emails to people. People respond to that email or click on something in that email, and then I can actually come back, and depending on what they did, I can have a workflow that says, oh, well, if they did this, go here. If they did this, do this next action. So it's kind of formalizing the process and automating the response to what a customer or a prospect would do, instructing people so that your sales staff or staff in general will actually follow it up the way that you intend on following it. Then you've got things like Talent, and Talent is a set of free applications, one which is called Attract, and that works with LinkedIn to attract recruits. And once they actually decide to join your organization, we have Onboard, which is all about the onboarding process. How do I get them on board? Documentation, etc. And then we have Core HR, which is really about managing the employee for their lifetime as an employee. Then on the other side, we have IoT, Internet of Things. So we have that as edge when required. So that means that the processing can be done actually at the place where the IoT devices are, and then fed back to the cloud, or it can be done in the cloud, depending on what needs to be done. But IoT is then connected to products like Dynamics 365 Field Service and our enterprise asset management software, etc. We have a new product which is called Commerce. Commerce is our retail product, but Commerce is actually us taking what we do in Microsoft stores and Microsoft Online and packaging that up to be a product that our customers and partners can use. And that includes things like advanced fraud protection, so the ability to analyze and find out, well, is this payment going to go through online or not? Then we have finance and operations, so it's financials, and we have two flavors of finance and operations. We have the enterprise system, which is now split up to finance and supply chain. And we also have the Business Central, which is the SMB, small to medium-sized businesses, all-in-one solution. So talk a bit more about that in a second. And then service, we have customer service, and as I said, we have field service. So customer service is more about, okay, after sales service, enabling your people to actually search through knowledge base. If you're doing an online customer service and the customer's interacting with a bot, so it's talking to AI and basically the bot's giving the answers, then transferring that discussion or transferring the text from that conversation to the next service agent when it actually gets escalated, so they're not asking the same questions. So that's kind of the customer service side. And the field service is more about directing your operations staff so that when they go out and do a job, they can record what they need to do and do it all on a mobile device. So that's pretty cool. And then Dynamics 365 Sales, which I spoke about before. So that's all from lead to qualifying that lead to an opportunity to creating an order or invoice and following up leads and activities and tasks. So all of this is on the Microsoft Cloud. So when we talk about our business applications, everything's pegged by Microsoft Azure. So you've got Microsoft 365 running on Azure infrastructure. You've got Microsoft Dynamics 365 running on Azure infrastructure. We're building intelligent business applications, looking at productivity and collaboration with Microsoft 365 and Teams, and basically an enterprise-grade cloud computing platform for Azure. So to bring it back, and I'll leave the slide here, but we have spoken about these a little bit. So we have these applications, and as I said, they're not all shown here. I'll just get to the end of the slide. They're not all shown here, but these are the main ones. And then we have a thing that we talk about, these 4 pillars: modern, unified, intelligent, adaptable, and I'm going to explain what that is a little bit so that people understand what we mean by that. But then we have the Power Platform. So for our partners that deal with SMB sort of customers, the opportunities are things like Business Central, Power Platform, Sales Professional, and so on. And for people that are growing, they may want field service, or they may want sales enterprise, they might want relationship sales. So there's a way to start small and grow stronger. And then we have Power BI in the Power Platform, so that's reporting. We have Flow, which is now called Power Automate, which is all about the workflow and the processes that happen and doing things in one system and updating another system. And then we have Power Apps, which we'll also come to very shortly. Before I jump into that, and Sunny will talk about this a little bit more as well, but for Dynamics 365 SMB, you have Business Central, Sales Professional, Customer Service Professional as a starting point, all modern, unified, intelligent, adaptable, just connected, so they're connected together. And then under that, you can use Power Apps, you can use Power BI, you can use Power Automate, all on the common data service, and all on top of Azure. So that's giving you the full picture of the SMB proposition. When we talk about modern, it's about transforming experiences across mobile, social, mixed reality, and modular applications. So, but let me explain what that actually is. So if I grab, so if you start at the modern, it's like the modern browser sort of based products, which is all of our products are, and then you take that browser experience and then you put that into Outlook. So when I'm in Outlook, I can actually do work without having to leave it, making it a modern and very efficient process for the customer. But then you jump into things like social. So, how do you get that LinkedIn information into your system so that if I'm talking to a prospect, I know who in my organization or who in my community of people that I know actually may already know this customer, might actually be able to recommend me or give me some insights that I don't have. If you talk about mobile and mixed reality, you've got 2 things there, so that come together. So for starters, if I'm on the go, can I get access to my system? Can I do things? Can I read reports, etc., on a tablet, on a mobile device, which of course all our products support, and whether it's Android or iOS or Apple iOS. And then the mixed reality side, which is very important from a perspective. So one of our solutions, we have 2 solutions, which actually brings into mobile and mixed reality, where you can use HoloLens. So say, for instance, I'm sitting on site and the people, well, an oil rig might be a good thing. So I'm standing on the oil rig, something's broken and I need someone to come and fix it. Instead of flying that person out to the oil rig, now what we can do is we can use things like HoloLens or even your mobile, and they can see what you're seeing. And at the same time, they can draw using Teams. They can draw and tell you, okay, that bit there, take that off, and actually draw on the screen. And if you're using HoloLens, you can see that. If you're using the mobile, you can also see that. You point the mobile at it and it will show up on the screen what you're doing it. So that's kind of giving that mixed reality fielding. We also use mixed reality for things like layouts. So if I'm setting up a large warehouse, I can use my HoloLens to actually see where all the components, desks, and tables are going to go. So this is kind of what we're trying to do, is like, instead of just, okay, here's a keyboard, I'm going to type my order in, we're trying to find new ways to interact with the technology that's available to get that information. So even in the modular sort of thing, so using IoT, I'm connected to something, I can click on the button, turn it off. I'm no longer going over and switching something on and off. I'm doing it based off a system. And if something goes wrong, I can grab that and actually create an automatic case incident to actually for someone to go and service that item, rather than someone having to actually go and identify something's wrong and then create the case. So it's the automation components that are important. When we talk unified, we talk about how data that brings people together and processes inside. So for me, this is actually more about actually enabling the system so that if I've got data in Office, and I'll come back to this in a second, and I've got data in Dynamics, and I've got data in other components, how can I connect those all together? So when you look at the data points, if I start off with this, if I look at Dynamics 365, you've got things like accounts, orders, support cases. If I move on and look at Office 365, I have things like tasks, calendar, email. So they're all different things that people are doing. And it is all about bringing them together. So even when I look and go and grab LinkedIn to that, you're looking at talent, you're looking at skills, you're looking at relationships, and it's bringing those processes and data together. So partner solutions may do some sort of patient care system. They may create some sort of planogram for retail. They might do some sort of trade promotion or device data. But when I bring that all together and connect that, I can really get some power over my data and do that. So with things like Business Central, the accounts are linked across to the sales professional account, which is then linked to the actual email that's coming in the Outlook. With that, I can identify the customer or an email level, and I can update Business Central and Dynamics 365. Another one is tasks. So if I go and put tasks into something like Microsoft Project or Project Online or Microsoft Planner, then those tasks are on the same fabric that tasks are. So I'm doing it in one place, but I'm actually experiencing it in different roles in multiple places. And it's all about the connection that enables us to do that. Then we have intelligent. So using reasoning, insights, actions. So if you look at enterprise asset management, which we do, that's really about predictive maintenance based off historical data. A machine's going to break down in a certain time, so let's actually do something about it before it breaks down. Or it could be some pipe's going to burst, whatever the actual issue is. But looking at that information, if you look at our ERP systems, it's things like predicting payments. So instead of the traditional way of having a 30, 60, 90 day, what I have is I have the capability to read the data and basically say, well, this customer during December, based off his payment patterns in the past, pays late. So at that stage, I may flag some invoices are going to be paid late, but for the rest of the year, he pays on time. So it's looking at those patterns and not just putting an average across things, but then I can focus on collecting money for the invoices that are going to be late versus doing, A to Z sort of action across customers. Which basically gives us that information, gives us insights, and gives us actions that we can actually do to do that. We also have it in our AI application, so sales insights. So looking at my sales, seeing where they trend, using AI on that rather than finger in the air sort of thing to try to work out where our sales insights are, bringing all those data points together. Market insights, what's happening in the market, how we're trending against that market. Customer insights, so that's joining multiple sources of data into one, so I can have an overall view, 360-degree view of my customer. And then moving into other things like customer service insights, so knowing how customers are going, how we're actually performing against KPIs, if there's any issues, or what I talked about before, which is the bot sort of thing for customer service, so virtual agents for customer services, where a lot of groundwork can be done before somebody has to actually interact with the customer directly. And as I mentioned before, fraud protection is another one. So state-of-the-art AI-powered protections to shield businesses and customers from fraud. So protecting both the customers from people using their cards and also protecting your businesses from people using cards that they shouldn't be using. And we use that at Microsoft. And Microsoft's one of the largest online stores in the world with Xbox and Microsoft Online. And then all of our solutions are adaptable. So as partners, you can extend these solutions, you can customize them, you can extend them, and they can scale. So you can build them out to where it goes. So whether we're talking about Business Central or finance and operations, or we're talking about sales professional, they're all extendable to suit customers' needs with a good foundation to start with. Then the Power Platform. So this is really about analyzing. So with Power BI, you can analyze data. With Power Apps, you can act. So a lot of people are now taking their forms and creating digital forms from them. And then the automate process. So now the reason Flow has changed to Power Automate is not because it already can automate processes. So you do this here and it goes off and does something else, but it now can actually go and enter data for you. So you can basically record movements around your screen and it will go and do that for you. So it can automate entry potentially into a legacy system, and it's acting as though it's you putting that information into that legacy system, not connecting and integrating directly, which opens a whole heap of doors. And today you can even put a Power App on a Power BI. So if I've got a Power BI report telling me a whole heap of information and there's some sort of action that I would make out of that, so it could be something about some sort of equipment and how it's running, or it could be my sales performance. So I can create a little Power App, include that in my Power BI report. And when I'm looking at my reports, I can click on that Power App inside the report and create some actions that need to happen that Flow can then pick up and route to the appropriate resources that you need to actually action that in. So that's when Power Platform comes in very strong. And then as partners, partners are creating applications that they're then putting on our app source or marketplace, if you want to call it that these days. And those applications are either applications that are one-off uses or they're ISV solutions, and we're increasing that all the time. So it basically means you can take your IP that you've created, put it out there and market it worldwide if you choose to. And that is all about adding revenue to yourself and taking that IP and making it available for people around the world. So now I'm going to pass this over to Sir Sunny. So let me just change the presenter here.
Hi there, this is Sunny Prince. I'm fairly new to Ingram Micro. I'm the subject matter expert in the D365 space. My job is to work closely with valuable partners like you and get you up to speed in the D365 business. So in this session, we are going to talk about how Ingram Micro can help you accelerate your D365 business and introduce you also to some of the cloud offerings and programs that we have in the market. So in this slide, we are going to talk about, sorry about that. Okay. So in this slide, we are going to talk about some of the pressing situations that you might be facing now, or you might face that in future. So you know that what you are doing today is not good enough for tomorrow. For example, you might be experiencing that margins and incentives from key partners are going down. You know that your service offerings to your customer is critical for your future success. So which means that you can't just be selling licenses, but you have to think about how you can get into the managed services and get that ball rolling. At the same time, you have also experienced or you have gone through this path in the past about setting up a Dynamics 365 practice, and you know there's a lot of investment. You need to get skills who are quite niche. You need to get all the certifications, and then you have to set up a sales team, and you have few pre-sales going on. So it's quite an expensive and requires an investment on that. So you have been to that path, and it's a lot of work. So these are some of the areas where they might be a bit daunting. At the same time, if you see the bars below, these are some of the current business models, what partners are going through. For example, the first one is product where you are just sticking into selling licenses, but it doesn't fetch much margin. But if you bump it and put some more add-ons, you can sell licenses along with a one-time implementation, and that has some more margins compared to just selling licenses. So if you add more service, you can package licenses along with a one-time implementation and provide managed services in the form of support, which has more margin compared to one-time support, one-time implementation. So the biggest package which can fetch you more margin is creating a packaged IP. So when I say packaged IP, I meant that you can sell licenses, you can have a one-time implementation, and you can even provide support, and then you can package it, and then you can target to specific verticals and industries, and you can keep selling that. So it's like your intellectual property that gives you more margin compared to all the other three verticals that we spoke earlier. So moving on, so as Tim was mentioning earlier, I'm just going to quickly walk you through this slide. So under Dynamics 365, as Tim was mentioning, it's a portfolio of various business apps that work seamlessly together. So when I say seamlessly, they work in a way, in the sense that they work closely integrated, and they manage specific business processes and automate them in the sales, customer service, and field service modules. We must have also experienced that data has become the new currency, and every organization has access to this data, and they are creating these data exponentially. But the challenge right now is how you can transform, how you can translate that data into intelligence that generates action and drive outcomes. So Dynamics 365 is the platform that provides and unifies and transforms that data into a very intuitive platform. So when I say unification and collaboration between apps, it all starts from sales. So if you see the screen, sales is where you acquire new customers, and once you acquire the customer, maybe in the form of a lead, and then you qualify the lead into an opportunity, and then you do all the sales stuff like raising quotations and closing an invoice is done in the sales. And then from acquiring, you move on to the customer service where you manage the customer, you provide incident supports and cases, and from there move on to the field service where you schedule resources and you can track the resources who are on field, and from there you can move on to doing some campaigning in the marketing modules, send bulk emails and track and do a bit of a campaign nurture events, and from marketing you move on to project service automation. So PSA, which is quite a standalone app, when integrated with finance and ops, you can track the time and expense reports that project members are submitting. So it gives you a very holistic and unified approach to Dynamics 365 ecosystem. So moving next, so I have always been saying that together is better. So when I say that, it means integration between Dynamics 365 and Office 365. So when I say integration, I'm talking about seamless, natively integrated. So talking about Business Central, it is natively integrated with your Outlook. So right within Outlook, when you receive an email, you can convert that email into a new customer, and you can even close a sales invoice. You can raise quotations right within Outlook. So I'm talking about unification, where from one single platform you can manage all these tasks. And the same goes under the sales professional module, where you are receiving a lead. You can create a lead right through the Outlook. You can open the CRM app within Outlook, and you can send emails, track them. Again, you can create quotations and do a bit of a marketing right from one single platform. So having said that, Tim will be presenting the Better Together event in one of our community events in Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne on Friday, Tuesday, and Thursday next week. So Sonia will be sharing the link after this webinar, so interested parties can attend those events. So you get to see event Tim also. So moving on, So let's talk about Ingram's D365 Accelerate program. So under the Accelerate program, we will talk about how we can help you launch or even grow your existing Dynamics 365 practice without investing a single penny, no revenue, new revenue, and no skills required. So, um, so we'll be working closely with partners like you to get you up to speed in your D365 space. And then Dynamics 365 Accelerate offers simplified access to the D365 cloud, and you can start earning your monthly recurring revenue on CSP licensing and services. So so under the Dynamics 365 Accelerate program, we have some turnkey solutions tailored exclusively for the SMB market, which I'll be talking about in a few seconds. These turnkey solutions in the form of bundles cover the licensing, fixed implementation cost, and the managed service support. So these bundles are tailored more to your needs and competency based on what kind of a competency you are having. It can be skills, even the revenue and the customer base, what you have. And then these turnkey solutions are more geared towards D365 partners. And you can even leverage a pool of resources like me who are subject matter experts in the D365 space to support you in your pre-sales and even in your sales and even in delivery. So we'll be working closely with you in driving your sales pursuits. And we also provide PDAAS, so which is called as Platform Development as a Service, to help you set up your D365 practice. So I'll be talking about the process, how it works, and what are the workshops and training programs that we have, where we will be talking about how we can help you close. And this is also provided in the form of trainings, boot camps, workshops, and certification programs in the D365 space. So there are other various partner incentive programs that we have put in place, which I'll be talking in a moment. And our turnkey solution, the bundles that I'll be talking, are extremely competitive commercially, and also we have something called as the a strong billing engine, where you can manage your customer subscriptions and margins that you get from us in the SKUs. So as I was mentioning, so we have got these 3 tiers, 3 business models or 3 programs quite tailored based on your competency. So the first one is fundamentals. And so under the fundamentals, if you are fairly new in the market and do not possess that competency, you don't have the resources and skill set which are a bit niche in the D365, and if you don't have the right sales team to drive this program, so this tier is tailored for you. So this is measured if you're doing a business of monthly recurring revenue between 0 to 5,000 K, and at least if you have 3 D365 customers, in the sense that if you are transacting with them, then this is for you. So under this, what do you get? So under the fundamentals, you get a turnkey solution bundles, which I'll be talking in a moment, and sales enablement, where you will be provided important sales leads, collaterals, marketing, and webinar content, and go-to-market services, which I'll be talking in a moment. So that is fundamentals. So let's talk about develop. So under develop, if you are not new in this space and have been in this road before, you have tried doing this business before, and you have a fairly moderate business going on, but for some reason you couldn't proceed forward, or if you feel stuck and you have a moderate competency, this is for you. So this is measured as if you are doing a business between 5,000 to 25,000 monthly recurring revenue, and at least have 3 new D365 customers, and at least 2 D365 consultants and 1 is certified, then this tier is exclusively for you. So what do you get? You gain access to our VIP support, which I'll walk you through in a moment, and exclusive discounts to your support for opportunities, and receive the benefit of expert consultation. So you receive advice and guidance from SMEs. So we have a pool of resources who will be working closely with you in driving your sales and pre-sales, and even in delivery, to help you grow your practice and the sales revenue. So the next one is called the Elite. So under Elite, we understand you're a mature player and you have done many transactions in the D365 ecosystem, and you're fairly established, having a established competitive competency for the go-to market. So this is measured if you are doing a business of 25,000 monthly recurring revenue and have at least 10 new D365 customers and at least 5 consultants, and out of them if 2 are certified, then this is for you. So you get the best commercial offer, which I will talk in a moment, and you will gain access to the demand generation leads and the opportunity even to become an elite service provider partner. So we have something called as the P2P elite service provider, where since you have the right competency, we can take you to our potential customers who require a partner who has the right competency and skill set, who can help them and work closely with them in rolling Dynamics 365 projects. So that is the Elite program. So let's talk about the programs and the benefits that you receive being a fundamental or under the develop or Elite partner. So under the fundamentals, again, you gain access to Neural Impact PDAAS content. So what exactly is that? So Neural Impact is a company with whom we have collaborating. So Neural Impact is a Canadian company who organizes and launches workshops where they help and guide partners like you to launch a new business practice, or even help you expand your existing business practice. So they have these training programs and workshops, and they drive these boot camps, which I will be talking a bit more elaborately in the next slide. So we are having this program on the 18th and 19th, which I'll talk in a moment. So you gain access to those workshops and training programs. You also gain access to Ingram's Center of Excellence and P2P program. And you also have customer-facing email and marketing templates where you can create your campaigns and design and customize it. And then at the same time, you have also Microsoft's business application playbooks and resources and sales enablement resources, which is again the pitch decks and battle cards and video content. So under the front end margin for licenses, it's standard. Even for implementation and services, it's standard. Under develop, as a develop, you get a 101 development support from one of our Ingram's subject matter experts. You can leverage our service in the development area. You again gain access to the Center of Excellence and P2P program that I was talking earlier, and the rest is the same. But under the front end margin for licenses, you get 5% increment, and under the implementation front end margin is 3%, and the same for support, 3%. Under the Elite, as I was mentioning earlier, you get to work with one of our partners who might be looking for a support from an Elite service provider under the P2P program, and at the same time, under the commercial offer, you gain access to our COE P2P program and self-service options, which is completely up to your tailored to your expectations. And then again, it's under the front end margin for licensing, you get 5% increment again, which can even be extended. So it's And then under the front end margin for implementation, it's 3% increment, and for support plan, it's again 3%. Again, it can be extended. So minimum you get a 10% margin for licenses, and it's quite flexible. So talking about the turnkey solutions that I was talking about, which is in the form of bundles. So we have essentially 3 bundles. The first one is Quick Start, and the second is called the Right Start, and the third is Right Start plus Sales Insight. So let me talk about what exactly is the Quick Start. So this is for those end customers who do not have an IT department and require a very simple CRM solution without much customization, and the implementation can be done fairly quickly, along with the configuration, implementation, and training. So this is for you. It's $89.20 per user per month. It's under the Quick Start. So the second one is called the Right Start. It's $96.16 per user per license. This is the most widely used bundle, and the license it gives a full-blown sales professional package designed to help companies optimize the sales process. So the implementation is fairly extended in the sense so you can customize and configure all the way from leads to opportunities, and from opportunities to sales order. You receive even quotations, and you can even customize entities like invoicing. So that falls under the Right Start. So the third one is the Right Start along with Sales Insights. So it's the combination of Right Start and Sales Insights. So Sales Insights is one of the add-ons, which is again a business intelligence analytical tool which forecasts based on your customer's behavior. So that's quite an intuitive add-on. So that is the 3. Oops. So those are the 3 bundles that we have for the go-to-market space. Moving on, so under the Quick Start, we have the one-time implementation pricing also, which is $5,065.22. So what do you get under this implementation? So under that, for the Quick Start, you get to it's quite optimized for, first of all, it's quite optimized for the SMB market, and you can provision and personalize the instance, and we provide standard configuration for users from a security role and for core entities which are out of the box, and you can do a data import to maximum 1,000 records, and you even the end users gain access to training videos for 60 days. So it's a fixed scope, fixed price bundle. And towards the right, you can even see the support plans that we have. We have option 1, 2, 3, and for additional users, option 1 is $355.07 for the first user. So that's from a support perspective. So that's the same for, it's more or less the similar for Sales Optimize. Again, the one-time implementation fee is $10,862 and 32 cents. So that's the same that's the pricing under Sales Optimize, and the support is $355.07 for first user, and then it goes on from option 1 to option 2 and 3. Moving forward, for the Sales Optimize and the Sales Insight, which is the third tier, the pricing, the one-time implementation cost is $15,934.78. So again, it's more where you get to configure one of the business process flows. So business process flows is one of the functionalities under the sales professional. You get to configure that, and then you can configure custom entities also, along with 5 security roles and core entities. And then again, you can data import 10,000 records in the accounts, opportunities, contacts, and lead entities. And then you can even customize 3 entities, and you can configure 5 workflows. So that falls under the one-time implementation module for the Sales Optimize and Sales Insight. And then again, the support is more or less the same, $355 for first user in the first month. Okay, moving forward. So let me talk about the recurring revenue generation model. So the first one is the bundle of selling the licenses, which falls under the monthly recurring. So you take the licenses and then you do the one-time implementation and then you provide the support. So if you combine all these 3 services, just to give you an example of a 20 user license project, so I'm just giving you a ballpark figure. The deal, the revenue on a yearly basis. So on a first year, the revenue will be 45,000 for the entire project implementation, along with support and licenses. And then moving on for the consecutive year, it will be 38,000. So the gross profit for the first year will be 4,700, and for the second year, it will be 4,200. So this is just to give you an illustration of the figures that you and the profit that you gain from having this entire package, make it as a managed services, and if you sell that in the market. So moving forward, just to give you a quick recap of the programs and the partner incentive programs that I was talking earlier. So you receive a pre-sales support from us. We'll provide you a proven sales process. We'll walk you through the sales process, how it works. We can even give you the training, and there are workshops that I'll talk in a moment. We have a pool of resources to support you all the way from the sales to the implementation and completing the implementation life cycle. You get turnkey solutions that are quite optimized for your SMB market. You even can leverage the top P2P elite service provider program, managed service provider style recurring support and success plans. And then you get more practice development support, and you can earn your revenue on licensing and services. And then you can even receive your sales leads and marketing support and technical bench strength. So if you are interested in learning more and registering yourself with this program, I request you to please visit this link and then sign up with the Accelerate program with us. So once you sign up, one of us, like a subject matter expert, will give you a call and then walk you through what will be the next steps. So we'll even sign you up with the other programs which are happening in-house, and even with Microsoft's workshops, where we will train you in the sales and pre-sales space. So as I was mentioning earlier, so Neural Impact, this is the Neural Impact workshop that we are having on the 18th and 19th next week. So as I mentioned, Neural Impact is a Canadian company, and they provide these training workshops in the D365 ecosystem. So this is happening on the 18th and 19th in the Microsoft office in North Ryde. And it's a 2-day workshop, starts at 9 a.m. and it ends at 4:30. So the agenda for this workshop is we'll provide a training workshop in the how to set up your platform, how to provide a platform development as a service. So we provide a practice development as a service through neural network, as I mentioned, and we have collaborated with this Canadian company. And the agenda is we'll talk about how Ingram can take away all your risk and help you set up the practice without investing a single penny, no new resources, and a new revenue. So we'll train you on how to have that repeatable business and maximize your monthly recurring revenue. And at the same time, we'll train you on how to get recognized in the global digital marketplace. We'll also help you train you on how to tailor a solution that is packaged for your target verticals and train you on how to shorten your sales cycle and generate more D365 leads. So that's happening on the 18th and 19th. If you are interested, please let me know and I can share the registration link. The seats are limited, so please feel free to register. And Ingram is sponsoring this event, so it's free, and the lunch will also be provided on those 2 days. Okay, so the top offers that are happening now is so this one of the offers is called the SMB CSP offer from Microsoft. This is designed for Office 365 customers who are having a D365 sales professional expertise. So this offer provides a 25% discount across the term of contract. This offer is valid from 1st of November to June 30, 2020, and it applies to customers who wish to purchase minimum 10 user license to maximum 75. So it's more skewed towards the SMB market, and then the customer must be new to sales professional and should have an existing Office 365 licenses. So the other one is the Cloud Movers program, which I am sure everyone is familiar. So you can, so Cloud Movers program is again a customer loyalty rewarding platform. You can earn your points from sales and by attending webinars and get yourself rewarded. I think you get a trip to Uluru from our Cloud Movers program, and then you can even find events, webinars, boot camps, and in the Cloud Movers platform, and you can also get yourself certified and earn more points. So, in this slide, I'm talking about AvePoint Cloud Backup for Dynamics 365. So AvePoint is exactly a backup solution and a backup solution for Dynamics 365. It provides data protection for the Dynamics customer engagement and Dynamics unified operations. The Dynamics customer engagement protects the following application: sales, customer service, field service, and the marketing. For the Dynamics unified operation preview version, only protects the finance and operations application. So my colleague Murtata Salman is the sales executive who is the best go-to person to understand more on AvePoint Cloud Backup. So if you are interested to learn more, you can send him an email. The email is mentioned here in the slide. Any questions from this session? Please feel to ask me now, or you can even drop me an email if you wish to have a one-on-one meeting. I'll be more than happy to come to your office and give you a presentation and walk you through it and give you a more comprehensive, detailed meeting. So I'll just pause for some time and see if there are any questions.
No, we don't have any questions in the chat box at the moment.
Okay.
But I'm just wondering if yourself, Sunny, or Tim had heard anything from the partners that's been resonating and that we could bring up here at the moment.
Yeah, so just Tim here, I'll add something. So, and we will present this. So just a couple of things. So in Brisbane, the community event is this Friday, as in tomorrow. In Melbourne, it's Tuesday week. And in Sydney, it's Thursday week. So it's not next week, it's the week after. But there will be presenting Business Central and Sales Pro and Office all working together. So if you can get to those events, that's awesome. The question I get at the moment is about a thing called Common Data Service, and the Common Data Service is the framework on which Dynamics 365 Sales and Professional and other products run on. So it's the same platform, I suppose is a better way to say it, whereas the ERP products sit out of sight. So there are some updates coming to Business Central for the next release in April of how it actually integrates to that, making it easier for you as partners to change that integration and extend that integration in more of a configuration way. So that's exciting. It's already connected today. So already Business Central talks to the Common Data Service when you've got Sales Pro installed. But in the future, it'll be more of a configuration to extend that connection versus a development effort. So that's exciting. But come along to the community events if you want to find out more about those, which I think Sunny has put up on the screen.
I don't have any other questions that are coming through. But if you do have anything, please reach out to either myself or Sunny or Tim, and we can answer that appropriately. We will be sending a copy of the webinar and the slide deck that Sunny's presented today with some useful information and resources that you can follow up on. And I'll also include the details of the Microsoft community events that Tim just mentioned. So there's one in Brisbane this week, actually. So I think that's everything from now. I appreciate you taking the time to join the webinar today. And I'm sure we'll probably speak to you all very soon. Thank you.